Hello friends, it's me, KITT. When I'm not out fighting crime, I like to follow my friends at NightRiderHistorians.com. Check it out.
Hey guys, Joe here with Night Rider Historians. Time for another Insert Dash update. If you haven't seen the previous videos, this is the original dash used for the 3rd and 4th season on the soundstage. So anytime you saw KITT talking to Michael and they showed the dashboard, they showed KITT's voice working or the speedometer ticking up or the tack or Devin calling on the TV, that was this actual dashboard. We acquired it from a friend of ours, and we're in the process of restoring it. Just a quick recap, it was in terrible shape when we got it. Someone had sawed off the pods, and the dash had been stored outside and had been quite warped from the California sun and the moisture whenever it would rain, things like that. So it was all wonky. In previous videos, you'll see we addressed a lot of those issues. We repaired the understructure. There's a wood substrate under here. So we got that fixed. We got the warping out. We have the pods. We haven't started working on them yet. But what we're going to do today is give it a shot of high build primer. So I've done a lot of work to get this sanded down. It had a gloss coat on it, gloss paint coat on it from its time at the studio on tour. Someone had painted it gloss black. I have stripped almost all of that off, and I have it back down to its black matte finish that was on it when it was on the stage. So there were a lot of coats of paint on it. So there was cracks, there was low spots, different things like that. There's a few places that has kind of original body filler in it whenever they were working on it back in the day. The rear lip on it was completely gone. I showed you in a previous video how we restored that lip. So we have it to a point now where we're going to go ahead and shoot some high build primer on it just to see how things are looking. If I lift it up here, you can kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with. So we've got, all these different colors. We've got some of the original matte finish, some of the primer showing through. There's places that has some of the original body filler, some places where we've added body filler to kind of bring up some low spots, different things like that. So it's getting to the point where it's kind of hard to see where I'm at with it. So a shot of high build primer and then, we'll do some wet sanding on that and kind of see, where the imperfections are and take it from there. So hope you guys like it, and keep an eye on this channel. Be sure to subscribe to it, and we're picking up the pace on this. Once the dash is shot in high build primer and we get all the imperfections out, then we're going to turn our attention to the pod unit. So I'm sure some of you are asking, well, why aren't you rejoining the pod unit first before you do all this work? So to answer that question, it's easier to move this thing around and to kind of get into some of these spots down in here when you don't have those big pods in the way. So we're leaving this cut area alone. We're not touching it right now. It looks like, based on our measurements of another original dash we have, there's about a 1/2 inch of material missing between where this was cut off and the pod unit, because the back of the pods were sanded later after they were cut off. So we're missing a decent amount of material that we're gonna have to build back up between the dashboard and the pod unit. So we want to get this area, all of this, where it needs to be, like pretty much ready for paint. Then we're going to go in here and we'll start building up material, and we'll get those pods reattached. Reattaching the pods, I think, is going to be a little tricky because those were bonded in such a way that kind of gave this a nice smooth transition. So one of the things that we're gonna have to figure out is a way to properly bond it, so in time we don't start getting stress cracks right there. So we need to make sure it's fully and completely attached to the dash. So if someone, bumps their leg on the pod, that it doesn't start cracking right in here. So If you have suggestions on, ways we can achieve that, let me know. I have a couple ideas myself, but I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. So with all that being said, let's get some high build primer on this. All right, guys, we got the primer on the dash, and just at first glance, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of like hairline cracks and a few other, actually a lot more imperfections, which I expected. I mean, this thing was in really, like I said, really, really bad shape. So the fact that there's still a dozen or so places that need attention does not surprise me one bit. Here, let me bring you in for a little closer look. So you'll notice there's a few places where I taped off, such as around the monitor, that little area support right there, and the countdown trough. I only did that because, we're refinishing most of this dash. Normally, we like to leave original finishes, even if they're imperfect. This one was way too far gone and needed some work. So, but I taped those off just because those are areas that will be covered up that you won't see, but they're reminders of the original paint. So I just decided to leave those alone. So, I mean, we can see here, there's still a lot of work to be done. There's some roughage in there. The voice box area still has work to do here, which I knew before I primed it, that there were all these little hairline cracks, but this allows me to see them a little bit better. This voice box, this side is actually not too bad. It blends in fairly nicely. I still have some more sanding to do. This still needs some filler, but these aluminum voice box pieces, and even all the replica ones out there, or most of the replica ones out there, the aluminum ones are known for cracking right around here because of the bond issue between fiberglass and aluminum. These are in here pretty securely, so I'm fairly confident if I fill that in, well, I'm hoping to not have cracks for a while, but we'll see. And, just some other little things. We've got some hairline cracks here, some more dimples here that need filled in. As you remember, right here there was the opening for the microphone that they put in when it was on the theme park display. I filled that in because I'm restoring it back to stage dash condition. So I still have a few little pinholes here that I need to fill in, and just some general smoothing on some of these edges. A little bit more crack here. Some work here that still needs to be done. I mean, overall, really the top, which was in really bad shape, as you can see, it actually came out fairly nice. We've got a crack here we've got to work on. We've got, little things like this, which we'll smooth out and get fixed. And same with our lip. I knew it was rough, but this allows me to see exactly where I need to pay some attention. This defrost area, again, lots of rough areas. This right here, another place that I saw before I painted, but this allows me to see the cracks a little bit better, so I'll be able to sand that down, get that filled in. So, overall, we're making great progress on this, and I'm hoping it won't be too long until we can get all these imperfections fixed, get another coat of primer on it, make sure everything's good, and then wet sand, and we'll be ready for paint. Well, we've got to do the switch pods first, I suppose. So here are the switch pods. So as I was saying, there's about a ½ inch of material missing. So if we look at it, they actually should sit right about there, believe it or not. So we're going to have a lot of work in that area to build it back up. But I'm confident that we'll be able to do it, and the stage dash will live once again. See you guys soon.
And now, while we listen to Joe's selection of Knight Rider music that we received directly from Don Peake himself, we'd like to thank these Patreon supporters. Look at you guys scrolling up the screen to my right. Wait a minute, how can you tell which side is my right, since you can't see me because I'm not on camera? Oh well, you know what I mean. We're featuring these fine supporters at our Knight Rider prop restorer level. Thank you very much for your support. And for those of you at the Knight Rider History Hunter level, we're recognizing you right now in the description. Now, if you enjoyed seeing this golden nugget of Knight Rider history being rescued from obscurity, then please consider supporting us on Patreon. Your support would empower us to bring you even more of these historical nuggets. We are the Knight Rider Historians. Till next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.